Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about Immortals Fenyx Rising. There are games out there other than Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and I know a lot of you follow me for my Breakpoint content, but I do play other games. I do love other genres of video games, and the action adventure RPG is one of those genres, or a subset of those genres. I love games like Tomb Raider and Uncharted for that action adventure side, and I love games like Legend of Zelda, World of Warcraft, which I played my whole life, and I'm really actually looking forward to this game. It looks really cool. It looks interesting, and it seems like they took a lot of Breath of the Wild mechanics in this game. If you saw the trailer and especially the gameplay, they it seems like they took a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild, and then everything that they were making in their Assassin's Creed game, Odyssey, and their Anvil Next 2.0 engine. It looks like they took the ideas and what they had in their engine and they just combined it almost as if like they were when they were making Odyssey. If you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you play these you get into these mythical boss fights and it's almost as if the team was like, yo, I want to do more of this type of stuff. And an entire group of the team kind of broke off and started making Gods and Monsters, or Immortal Phoenix Rising, formerly known as Gods and Monsters. So it seems really cool. It is what Ubisoft usually likes to do when it comes to creating their games. They mix match things from previous games, and the fact that this is set in this Greek mythology, it fits perfectly right in there with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm sure a lot of the things they were doing with Odyssey has now been put into this game, along with a lot of Breath of the Wild mechanics. So, what do we know about this game? It's an open world action adventure RPG. It has the Greek mythology, like I said. It looks really cool. It's this island based off of gods and monsters, I guess, which was a really cool name originally, but I don't know why they wanted to change it. Maybe to give the main character more of a stake in the selling of the game. So I'd like to discuss what we see as far as gameplay. There are some things I liked, there are some things I didn't like. So first off, there's these mechanics that seem ripped right out of Breath of the Wild. This far sight mechanic right here that we see. It's used to find places to explore that are called rifts and other things as well, but these rifts, they remind me exactly of shrines in Breath of the Wild. You find them, you go to them, you solve these puzzles, you get chests inside the puzzles. It's like the main thing that you get, and then that seals the rift. You leave the rift. So I want to say to Ubisoft Paris, this is the type of game where it makes sense to have chests. So wink, wink. When you go into these rifts and you beat the puzzle system, which is I know I'm gonna have a fun time doing, it makes sense to get a treasure chest at the end of that. So maybe a lot of people from UB Paris, you should put in a transfer order and try to go work for Montreal and get on the Immortals Fenyx Rising team, because this is where treasure chests make sense. So there were other type of mechanics that I saw that reminded me of Breath of the Wild, and I'm sure everybody picked up on this. The flying. So now the wings look really awesome. You have these wings, and it's a cool idea. It seems fun. It reminds me of the little kite you have in Breath of the Wild, where if you catch a wind pocket, you can fly. The mechanics for this is a little different. You have these wings that you could use, but it's balanced with a stamina meter. So you run out of stamina for flying, and you have to balance that with potions that you could get your stamina gauge back and keep flying, and fighting in the air. And it's not infinite, so that seems like they have a little uh mechanic for balancing there. It should be fun and intuitive and engaging. That seems like a cool mechanic, but it's another mechanic that reminds me of Breath of the Wild, and another one from Breath of the Wild here, as we can see these Heracles bracers, where you can grab these big stones that are thrown at you, or I'm sure there are other things, and you could grab them and throw them back. It reminds me just like the magnetic tool in Breath of the Wild. So as you can see, a lot of this game comes straight out of Breath of the Wild. So if you're a huge Zelda fan, I have a feeling you're going to love this game. It does seem a little more arcadey, uh, as far as the combat, and I'm going to explain that now, there's a lot of things I don't like in the combat, not the combat system, but more the UI. So, what I wanted to explain for what I don't like in this UI, as you can see, there's a lot of things on the screen. So we have a little combo counter to the side. That's very, very arcadey in my opinion. There are numbers when hitting enemies. That reminds me of MMOs. I hope you can turn that off because I don't really need to see numbers when I'm fighting an enemy. When I play games like God of War and you're fighting a boss, I think a nice health bar is just fine. Uh, there's a lot of things when you aim at the enemy. There's another bar that pops up, your arrow count or whatnot. The health bar at the bottom center of the screen goes right over your character while you're playing. That should be put in the top left corner. Your stamina gauge should be in the top left corner right beneath it. It should be two little bars, one red, one blue. You see them move back and forth. You take a peek up there. It should be out of the main screen, out of the way. The UI is just so cluttered with things while you're fighting. I feel like it's a little too much. There's a navigation bar on the top of the screen. If you're fighting a boss, right underneath that is his bars, and then right underneath that is everything else in your UI. Your stamina gauge is to your left. Your health bar is right underneath you. It's almost as if Ubisoft Montreal said people are too stupid to kind of look off up to the left or whatnot to see what's going on with their player. Let's put it all right in the center so people can see everything that's going on. It's a little too much for me. I hope it gets tweaked. I hope there's options to move it. That's not how these games work. Usually things in the UI, I know with World of Warcraft, you have to download mods to move things. I doubt this game will have that, so I'm probably going to be disappointed with the UI when playing. It's just too much. It's just too cluttered in the center screen. That's really what I was talking about when not liking the combat. I didn't actually mean the combat itself because I think the combat actually looks really cool. The running animation looks a little stiff, but the action for fighting these monsters looks really cool in my opinion. The puzzle systems that they have look really cool. Again, it reminds me of Legend of Zelda. Unblocking air vents and shooting arrows through fire to set something off and open up a puzzle system. And there was this one part that was really interesting, and it was right here, this stealth part. As you can see, you're complete stealth like a rogue in World of Warcraft, and I'd like to really see how that works, get it more into that. I'm sure it's an ability that has a cooldown or whatnot, but just seeing stuff like that is really, really cool and where they're taking this game. There's also acquiring coins of was it Sharon? I forget how it was called, to upgrade your skills and abilities through puzzles. So there's a lot of rewarding things going through these puzzles and acquiring either treasure chests in these rifts or Sharons, which is currency, so you could update your abilities and things of that nature. And other than that, I think the game looks absolutely amazing. I think I'm gonna have a fun time playing it. I think that this might be a hit for Ubisoft. Shut up, phone. This might be a hit for Ubisoft Montreal because they don't really have this type of game in their catalog for Ubisoft, period. So now they have their own little Zelda game that they could really build into. And Ubisoft Paris developers, if this is the type of shit you want to make, get a visa and go work for Ubisoft Montreal, or ask, the way Ubisoft works, I'm sure a bunch of teams in all different different parts of their little development studios can work on the same games. Transfer off of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, go work on Immortals Fenyx Rising. It's just, this is basically what I feel like half the people at Ubisoft Paris want to create. So, but anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about today, guys. I was looking at this game. I'm kind of hyped. I think the running animation is a little tight. Looks like it kind of runs in a way where could be a little more loose, like Assassin's Creed, a little more fluid. The game doesn't come out until December. I believe it's December 3rd. I got to double check that. So, December 3rd. Yeah, December 3rd, 2020. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's all we kind of saw at Ubisoft Forward event. That's everything I grasped. from the post Ubisoft Forward event gameplay that they actually showed us with everything that we saw. And I don't know, I'm excited. Some opinions I have about the UI, kind of like the wings. You think we'll ever get to the point where maybe instead of a stamina bar on your wings, maybe the wings could just start turning a different color themselves? Maybe the wings go from that blue and they start turning a hue of red, and the red represents that you're running out of stamina. I don't know. You think games will ever get to the point where they stop freaking cluttering the screen with a UI and they make the mechanics actually, combined in with the game itself instead of these little UI health bars and things of that nature? I don't know. I don't know if developers will ever be able to figure that type of shit out, or develop a game perfectly where they can do that type of stuff to where it's intuitive for the player to understand what's going on. But I feel like that's where we need to get, especially with seeing this UI. It's completely cluttered, and I really hope they fix it. Let me show you guys. I actually already have gone on the forums, and I'm making my mark on the Immortals Fenyx Rising forums. I'll show you here. As I get it, she's female. Well, that's not true. It's completely customizable. Maybe you should have paid attention. Let's see. I think I got buried already. Oh no, wait. Cluttered UI. See, nobody replied because nobody cares about what G Money Mozart thinks. So, whoa, there are a lot of things going on right in the middle of the screen, and I'd like to discuss what I think about it. Maybe I articulated this a little better in this post than I did in the video where I just kind of go off the head. I have my little bullet points, but I think maybe I did this better here. The player health bar sits right where the character is in prime third-person model real estate, covering you during fights. Move to the top left of the screen. There is the player's ability stamina bar that sits to the left of the character, combined with the health bar. One red health bar on the top, one blue stamina bar on the bottom, up to the left. That's how it should be, just like World of Warcraft and a lot of MMOs. Aiming your bow then produces another bar along with numbers. When you aim your bow, another UI element pops up. Again, move underneath the health bar at the top left to where you can see, or somewhere else where you can see how many bows or whatnot you have. That's all you need. The navigation compass on the top of the screen. It's kind of there's a lot of padding between the top of the screen and that element. Move that element more farther up. Push it up more towards the top of the screen, allow it to be tweaked in size, and turn off in UI options menu. That's my opinion. The enemy health bars above their head. Allow the size to be tweaked and allow it to be turned off in the UI menu. Sometimes I don't think people need to see what the enemy has. You just keep fighting until the enemy dies. Numbers from doing damage allowed to be turned off in UI menu. Combo streak notification that sits off to the right, allowed to be turned off in the UI menu. This game needs a way cleaner UI in my opinion. Many MMOs like World of Warcraft have the character portrait with your health and mana tucked away in the top left. The health bar for the player should definitely be located at the top left location, along with any type of energy mana bar, out of the way, and it doesn't have to be so big. I hope these UI elements will be looked into, and I hope the dev team will consider tweaking some things so we don't have to see so much clutter in the middle of the screen while in combat. I'm definitely hyped and looking forward to seeing more. That was my first post on Immortals Fenyx Rising forums. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys clicked on this video and you're interested about this game. Let me know. It's fun to engage with my community, not only with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but with various games that we all enjoy playing. So comment down below. Let me know what you're excited about. Let me know your opinions on what you saw, what you liked and didn't like, what you think they should fix before December 3rd if they can, and we'll talk about it in the comments. All right, so that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.